Hey guys, this is your host Kaushik and you're watching Crypto Market today. Guys, this is a special video because we have a special person with us who gives you content regarding the blockchain technology and the cryptocurrencies. He gives content related to the fundamentals and the use cases than predictions. Hi Shiv, thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for so many kind words. I'm so glad to be here, and you have been doing amazing job as well. I mean, I've checked out your channels and you have some amazing contents there, and I think you kind of also do the same thing wherein you focus more on education and really getting the words out to people. And I think that is what is more important right
Yes.
now because we are uh, at such an early stage of technology. There is so much to learn, and you are contributing so much. So I'm really glad to be here and talking to you right now.
Hey, thank you so much. So my first question for you is that till 2017, I think this cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology is adopted only for the developers or the programmers, but we haven't went into the masses. So for the mass adoption, we need masses to understand this technology. So how could you make these people to understand this cryptocurrencies and blockchain?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, see, we have two phases of any technology, right? The first phase is always about developing things. It's more about, the entrepreneurs, about the investors. When I say investors, I'm not talking about the retail investors. I'm talking about the venture capitalists, right?
Yeah.
This is the first phase of the technology is more about developers, right? Entrepreneurs. So the first stage is building stage. And the stage number two is where the users comes into picture, the end users comes into picture, right? So what I feel right now that we haven't reached the stage number two as yet.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, though we are trying, I'm not saying that the first phase has to be completed first and then the second set of users will come in. I think both has to go hand in hand, right? So I think what we are doing right now, we are letting people know that what are the possibilities. So I'm talking about the end users, right?
Yeah.
What are the possibilities that you can expect in a few years from now,
Okay.
right? And so there's so much of work that needs to be done. And so what we see right now, and the reason why you say that it's not mass adopted, because we don't have a product, we don't have a service, we don't have a utility which can be used by masses at this point in time.
Yeah.
And that is why there is no mass adoption.
But
Uh,
do you think that regulations is also a part of this thing? Because there is no regulations kind of, so people feel insecure in using these technologies because there is so much of manipulations in the market as well.
it is, and I think it's going to be like it has always been that way for so many other technologies, right?
Yeah.
For every innovation that takes place, it takes time for the regulations to come into picture, and which is, I think, good. I mean, none of the technologies can be regulated right from day one. Okay,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't blame the regulations. I would rather say that okay, they are taking their time. They are taking their time to understand things how they work, and it is just a usual process, So I'm sure it will come when the time is right. Maybe again, if you talk about India specific, yes. I mean, we have been very late in adopting new technologies. So if you're referring to those scenarios, then yes, I would say that India is slow. So I would say that maybe India has been one of those countries which tends to follow other countries like US and others, and maybe we are very close to that as well. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't see regulations as being the biggest stoppage at this point in time. What we actually need right now is a good product, good service, good utility which people can use right now.
so I got a question from my subscriber. He said that he don't belongs to IT field or he don't know much about the computers. So for this kind of people, is researching about the blockchain technology or understanding or analyzing the use cases would be a different task.
See, so I don't think it depends on his passion. right? It depends on his interest. If he is, I mean, today we are at the initial stage of a new technology, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing that stops anyone from learning new things. So I do not care whether you're from the financial background, whether you are from whether you're a doctor, whether you are a fitness trainer, or whatever your profession is, right? Obviously, if you are already a developer, you have been building stuff, you're a computer science student, of course, it will be easy for you to understand these tech, right?
Yeah.
But even if you're coming from a different background, you can still learn things, right? And to be involved into the space, you do not have to know all this tech. I mean, people are investing into these cryptocurrencies and they are not techies themselves, they're not developers themselves, right?
Yeah.
For example, we are using Amazon every day in our life, but do we actually know how Amazon runs or how Amazon is coded? Not really, but we are using Facebook, we are using Amazon. Most people don't even know what's the programming language that has been programmed in, right?
Yeah.
But we are the end user, we are using those products.
Yeah.
So so
And
it's not something that just because you're not an IT guy, you cannot learn. It all depends on your IT, your interest. And it also depends on what do you want to do into the space. Do you want to become an investor? Do you want to become a user? Or do you want to build something?
yes, and even the other thing is like when the new remote TVs I came, the people have think the same way, and at the time of smartphones, they have think in the same way. So I think that if that particular person can use a smartphone, then I don't think utilizing the dApps of this blockchain technology would be a great problem for him.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that I think most people into the space would agree that what they want to build an app where the user doesn't even feel that it's built in blockchain, right? It's as easy as that. I mean, today, if you want to use a Ethereum wallet, right? Or if you want to access an Ethereum dApp, maybe you are required to create a MetaMask account or things like that, right?
Yeah.
Which is not that user friendly.
Yeah.
So I think right now the focus definitely is that can we create a dApp which on the front end it looks like just like using any other app. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like it's been processed. So that's
Yes.
one of the focus, and I think that will keep improving as the time passes. It will keep improving year after year.
Yeah, I have used the Silent Notary app in my Android phone, and that was really fantastic. If I just record anything that's happening, and then if I save that, then obviously it's going to save in the blockchain. So that would be used as an something that we can trust it on. So if there can't be any changes on a blockchain once it is went into the blockchain, right? So I think that dApps are a bit tough to utilize, but throughout if we start using on that things, then slowly this difficulty process will go out.
Absolutely, absolutely. What app did you mention? I haven't heard of it. I would like to check that out myself.
Yeah, Silent Notary.
Silent Notary.
Yeah, and we
So
have
is
other
this?
thing as well. Docademic is also there, right?
Uh,
Yeah. So
yeah,
my
yeah, exactly.
yeah, so my next question is price attracts you or use cases?
Well, I would say, what do you mean by price?
Price of any particular coin or any particular token, will that attracts you, or a kind of the utilization, or when you are buying anything, any coin or any token, what do you see, whether you are attracted with the price or the use cases that particular coin have?
So I think what you mean by price is basically the financial gains out of it, right?
Yes.
Well, it definitely does. What attracts me is both, right?
Yeah.
Um, Financial gains, finance is such an important part of each of our life. We all want to have enough to live the way we want to live, right? So finance is absolutely incredible part of all of us life, and I do look at that aspect as well. But that has to be clubbed with a very good utility, you know,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, there is only so much that you want in your life. Uh, but when you have a purpose, when you have a utility, right? For example, right now for Bitcoin, of course, you can make tons of money, and people have made tons of money by buying a few Bitcoins at the early stage, right?
Yeah.
But if you do not believe in the fundamentals of what Bitcoin is capable of going
Hmm.
ahead,
Hmm.
if you do not know that Bitcoin is the first of its open system, open financial system,
Hmm.
right? If you do
Yeah.
not know, if you don't see the vision of what Bitcoin has, if you don't buy into that, then probably at $1,000 or $2,000, you're going to sell off, right?
Obviously. Yeah.
But if you have seen the vision, and then you might want to hold on to it for a longer time.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, there is another debate that we can have, that why not make the most out of the
Hmm.
bull run, so mainly buy, sell it at high and buy back again at low. Of
Yeah.
course, that also is wonderful idea, that also works.
Okay.
But what I'm saying that is, it has to be both. It can't just be one, right? It can't just be that, okay, you know what, I'm not interested in money, but I'm interested in technology. I'm interested in what it's going to do. Yes, that's fine. But you also have to have interest in finance, because uh, that's also an incredible part. I mean, you can't be broke and be building something. You have
Yeah.
to have money to build anything in your life, right? You have a family to take care of, you have
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
to take care of. So yes, I mean, both goes hand in hand.
So why I ask this question is there are so many kind of prediction channels where they give about you buy this particular thing or this can go double or triple in just 1 week or 10 days the news is going to come and all these things, and most of the investors, most of the people who entered into the crypto gets attracted to that kind of news, and then they invest in. If something goes wrong against their call, then obviously now in the panic selling they just keep selling it rather than thinking about the use cases.
Absolutely, you're right. So I would say there are two things, right? So there are one set of people who have no clue about the fundamentals of the cryptocurrencies,
Yeah.
and their only aim is really to buy at a higher price and sell at a sorry, buy at a lower price and sell at a higher price, buy again at a lower price, sell again. So uh, I think it works for them. As long as it's work for you, fine. Uh, but I think the other set of people also who believes in the fundamentals of it, like in the long-term fundamentals of it, but at the same time also want to take the advantage of the volatility of the market, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. All I'm saying is, as long as you know that
Hmm.
what these
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies are for,
Yes, yes, this is
right?
correct.
And if there is an opportunity comes along your way, wherein it gives you an opportunity to probably double your triple your investment, there's nothing wrong with it. But again, do not just, I've seen, so what I'm trying to put across here is that I've seen people going all in, losing all of their money,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
saying that cryptocurrency is a scam. Now,
obviously.
that's not what I want to hear from you.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, you did not do your research, right?
Hmm.
Right? You did not understand what cryptocurrencies are in. And secondly, you have been, I mean, people must have told you so many times that invest only that you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
But you went all in. And I'll tell you what, here's the reason. I'll tell you why you went all in. You want to blame others, you want to blame cryptocurrency, you want to blame the new technology. I would blame you. You know
Yes,
what made you go
exactly.
all in? You got greedy.
Greediness. Yes, exactly.
You thought, let me invest everything that I've got, let me make 10 times, and let me retire quick. That's not what it is for us. So
Exactly.
you got it all wrong. So because you made the mistake, it's you to blame.
Exactly.
Ideally, what should have done is you should have first done your research on what cryptocurrencies are,
Hmm.
and then when you do your research, you find out, you understand that, okay, you know what, this is too early.
Exactly.
You know what, this is so much of a speculation. You know what, there is no utility right now. There are no users. You know what, I find 80% speculation. And then when you do all those research, and then you say, okay, now I got it. Okay, you know what? I would not go all in. So what I'm going to do is, and I'll not stay out.
Exactly.
But
This
what
is
I will
correct.
do is I'll make a calculated decision. So
Hmm.
since I know I'm at the early stage, this has a potential to become this in so many years. So
Hmm.
you have your calculations right, and accordingly you invest. Suddenly, all of a sudden, you will find that you have so much of time to make wealth into the space.
Exactly.
You have so many years ahead of you, and you still can be rich. And so you will not hurry up. You will not try to get rich. And then you will study a lot. You will spend time on yourself. You will keep educating on yourself. At the same time, you will keep learning the new apps, new technologies, and then you will invest wisely. And so there will never be a stage that you will lose it all because you haven't invested everything.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
fact, you will make the best out of the market cycle.
Yeah.
You invest something in the bear market, you will also sell something in the bull market. So you have a combination of both, and you will be best. I mean, you will make the best investment ever that anyone can ever have.
Yeah.
And the reason you didn't do that because you were driven by greed, and then you lost it all, and you're blaming cryptocurrency.
Exactly. Because of this particular thing, I get so many questions of this kind of things. And then exactly after that, the people say that these are a bubble or any kind of things. So I just started this How to Become Rich series on my channel regarding these particular things only, where I don't speak only about cryptocurrencies. I just speak about how much to invest, at what time is it the correct time to invest or not. And if you want to invest, how much you can invest according to this, and all these things I have discussed in that particular thing. So coming back to this particular crypto, so what I just want to say is that now countries say that blockchain we need to adopt, blockchain technology we need to adopt, but they are against, I can't say it against, but they are not supportive towards these cryptocurrencies. So do you think that we can divide cryptocurrencies and adopt only the blockchain technology? Then that obviously that would become a private blockchains, and I don't think that private blockchains would be decentralized.
You're absolutely right. The private blockchains are not going to be as trusted as for the public. So when you say private, obviously it's not trusted by public,
Yeah.
right? And so from the beginning, we have two different expectations. So there is absolutely no point in merging both, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a private blockchain, what you're trying to resolve is a problem within a certain organization. Whether you are trying to resolve some problems at the same time, you are trying to increase the efficiency of the organization, the speed and everything, right? So that's a different purpose altogether, right? And then on the other hand, you have a public blockchain, right? Where you're trying to build trust with public, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're creating a system where value can be transferred among people, where there is no trust required, right?
Yes.
So, and these are the different use cases,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly.
Now, we at no point we can say that okay, we need only public blockchains, but we don't need private blockchains,
Hmm.
right? At no point we can say that we only need private blockchains and we don't need public blockchains, right? So we need both,
Yes.
right? Now, again, to be calling something as private blockchain, I think it's a wrong term. So blockchains are really supposed to be public, right?
Exactly.
Uh, but again, I would say that blockchain is a term which has been given by people, like just because on based on Bitcoin, right? Because
Hmm.
any distributed ledger which
Hmm.
stores data in blocks,
Yes.
it becomes a blockchain. So ideally, I mean, the ideal word would be it has to be, if it is a blockchain, it has to be public. But I don't think that's how it's going to work in future. You will have some solutions built for enterprises, which will be on public blockchains also. So the way I look at it, both will exist. And of course, there's no price in guessing that which will have more value in the eyes of public is
Yeah.
public blockchain, because there you are, anything which is trusted more is more valuable,
Yes,
right?
but in
So
a private
token,
blockchains, but we don't have this kind of consensus or a kind of miners who's gonna mine, who's gonna do a transaction. If for an example, one of the states said that they're gonna put their 10th class people certificates in a blockchain, then obviously that would be a centralized rather than a decentralized. You're just tracking the timestamps. If any changes would happen, you're just tracking the timestamps, but there won't be any kind of consensus or any kind of mining or anything that happens over there. There won't be any transactions. But the people
absolutely.
say, but again the people say that we have implemented the blockchain technology, but that is not an exact blockchain.
Very true. I'm glad that you said that. So yeah, I mean, in those scenarios, you do not have to have a consensus mechanism. You don't have to mine, or you don't have to do POS. The reason being because you have a different purpose of that altogether. So
Yeah.
you don't need that consensus mechanism, because all of a sudden there is no need of doing that at all, because
Hmm.
it's not a public blockchain. There is one decision
Yes.
maker, and it's all centralized. The
Yeah.
participants are already predefined. The
Yeah.
access is already predefined.
Yeah.
So there you don't need a tokenization also, because see, the
Obviously.
tokenization is for incentivizing the
Hmm.
participants,
Hmm.
right, in a public blockchain.
Yeah.
And that is why the idea of cryptocurrency, crypto,
Yeah.
because if you have a public blockchain, you have to have an incentive mechanism. So that is when the token comes into picture. For a private blockchain, you don't need to incentivize anyone.
Hmm.
So why do you want to have a token mechanism?
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
possibly the difference. But we can still call that a blockchain. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Yeah. So my next question is decentralized technology and a centralized markets. So, and a manipulative market as well. So we have this BCH fight and all these things that you have posted in your uh, videos, right?
Yeah, I think so. See, it's obvious, right? So this is something that there are pros and cons of having a public blockchains, right?
Hmm.
So public
This is the
blockchains, the
beauty
whole
of the
idea of,
blockchain.
yeah. So the whole idea is it sort of gives anyone freedom to do whatever they want to, right?
Hmm.
So that's the ideology.
Yeah.
So if you're referring to this recent fight on Bitcoin folks,
Hmm.
and I have always believed that the folks are a new chain altogether, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And they are a little bit centralized. They are, and that we already witnessed that how centralized Bitcoin
Hmm.
Cash
Hmm.
was,
Hmm.
the hash was, and that is why you see a lot of people not giving so much of credibility to a fork version of Bitcoin as they would give to Bitcoin. So in the eyes of people, Bitcoin is still much more secured and trusted network than
Hmm.
a forked version, right?
Yeah.
So, but of course,
Yeah.
that that also gives freedom to create a new chain, create something of their own. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about trust. What do people
Exactly.
trust more?
Yeah.
And more trust, more value, more price. Simple as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Bitcoin has more? Is about trading at about 4,000. What's the price today? $4,000. And
Hmm.
Bitcoin Satoshi Vision is trading about 150, 100. Why? They do exactly the same thing, right? The value of
Exactly.
transfer, but there is more trust there.
Yeah. Do you
The
think
more,
that this centralization is the reason for ETFs not getting approved? Are the regulations of these things in different countries becoming tough? Because any person from any other country who have a good number of bitcoins can manipulate this particular thing.
so I do not think that this is the only reason
Not
why we
only
have.
thing, but this can be a
Yeah, possible. This is definitely a kind of concerns for the regulators,
yeah.
that they what they found out in this hash wars, is they were shocked to see that, you know what, the Bitcoin Cash was so much centralized, prone to attack, that two guys coming together could,
Hmm.
could threaten to just kill the entire chain of Bitcoin Cash.
Yes,
So
yes.
this was definitely alarming to them, I in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so this could be one of the reasons, but also they also want to ensure, like I said, see, this is the one of the good thing about regulators are that they always want to take more time in invest more time in understanding the dynamics of it
Okay.
before they actually come out with a decision. So I think that's what they're doing. They are just taking more time to understand new incidents and then have a walk around, and then come up with a final, regulation.
Yes, and the next question is that the normal giveaways and ICOs, airdrops, they just give some about $5 or $10 tokens if you can register for us and all this kind of airdrops things. So in that, people directly just go and give all the Aadhaar details or the PAN details or whatever they have just for those $5 or $3 things, and there is doesn't it be considered as a security threat, data security threat to our country, or not even for our country, to any other country, because they are collecting the entire data of this kind of people. This is a person with this email ID and these details, and in some airdrops they are also collecting the address as well. So they have everything, and this person is prone to this kind of free money.
Absolutely. I mean, this is extremely risky. So, like, we all know how the money works, right? So, I mean, most people are the free money. Airdrops are like a kind of free money,
Hmm.
and this is what attracts more people. But again, you're right that I mean, it's a huge risk. So you are literally giving out you're literally selling out your private data, right?
Exactly.
It's giving your email ID, what's your name, sometimes maybe your telephone number to somebody whom you don't know what's their intentions are, right?
Yeah.
And you don't even know if that tokens are going to have any value in future. I mean, I've seen airdrops like saying that 1,000 tokens of those, 2,000 tokens of those, or maybe 10,000 tokens of those. But I mean, who really knows what's the total price or the value of those tokens going to be like in the future? Maybe they will be worth a lot, maybe they'll be worth nothing, right?
Yeah.
So that's the risk that they are taking. So I would say that one should always be aware of these risks, right, before giving out all these informations. And of course, you can, I mean, counter us out. You can always ask more questions to the person or to the company, to the project, about what they are trying to achieve and why they are doing the airdrop, and take a calculated risk, because it
Exactly.
is a risk. It's not just the reward; it's also a risk. I would say to give out
Yeah,
all
yeah.
your information
I think
just
this
for
might be
something.
a biggest risk because the data privacy is very big thing in any other country, and according to our Indian law, it's like no one have a right to ask your Aadhaar details and all those details if without having a permission. But you can access number of websites and just give them these details, and whether they return the tokens or all, we don't know. But we're just giving those details. So my
Yeah,
next
yeah, this is
question, yeah, yeah,
extremely risky, I would say.
yeah. So my next question is like how your life and your lifestyle changed after entering into this crypto.
So my lifestyle haven't changed much, but
Yeah,
what have changed in me is basically, I found something that I am passionate of, right?
exactly.
I found the idea of with the invention of Bitcoin, you have this idea of economic freedom, right?
Yeah,
So I'm not sure, like, but there are about 7 billion people in the world, 7.5, 7.6 billion, and not all of them are actually banked, right? They about a few millions, they don't have access to the financial system at all,
exactly.
right? And so Bitcoin has given that idea that all of a sudden, I mean, you don't need anyone's permission. You can do value transfers across the globe. You can just, it's a free wallet to use. Now, all of a sudden, everyone is a part of an open financial system, which was not the case earlier. And so I found my passion in, taking this idea further,
Hmm.
and spreading this word out that what an extraordinary technology this is. That for the
Exactly.
first time ever, you could do a value transfer. You don't need anyone's permission. It doesn't ask you for any money. If you want to download a Bitcoin wallet, I mean, it's absolutely free. You just go onto your phone and download the wallet. And if you want to open up a bank account, then it's so much of hassle, right? And moreover, what also attracted me to the space is that I really saw that the old monetary system, the old financial system, is actually dying out. Yeah. So I was saying that being in crypto space, being in Bitcoin space, it takes you in the history of money, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
How money had changed its form
Hmm.
over a period of time, right? But
Yeah.
the form of money that we have is basically a fiat money, right?
Hmm.
And once someone knows that what exactly the fiat money is backed by, that idea is so scary. And there's no surprise that why there have been so many financial collapses, banking collapses earlier, and how these banking collapses will continue in future if it is not replaced with a real solid system where the value transfer takes place.
Exactly. So we were discussing in with some of my colleagues regarding this blockchain and the dApps and all these things few days back, and we just thought that we have took an idea that from morning to night, whatever the things that we do, so can we relate that to these kind of dApps and all? So it's like that thing was gone from about 5 to 10 projects that exactly where we can use. See, it's like if I want to go for a bar and have some a beer or something like that, I can use a civic coin. Or if I want to if I want to send any money to them, I just directly go and transfer some bitcoin. Or if I want to say talk to my doctor, I directly go and talk with the doctor. Or if I want to track any evidence or anything, I use a silent notary. If I want to watch this porn, I can use Tron as well. So there are so many things that we are at very early stage, and these use cases, I think the use cases must trigger the people to enter into the cryptocurrencies rather this price and all.
Absolutely, you're right, Kaushik. So yes, the use cases, the primary drive should be what this technology is capable of in future.
Okay.
What value will it bring? How this will change our lifestyle? How this will change our daily routines? All of a sudden, you don't have to show your passport in every hotel that you want to check in because your
Exactly.
identity is already stored in blockchain. You just
Yeah.
so yeah, the idea is fascinating for sure. This idea is fascinating. That how probably I think in a few years from now, maybe about 2 years or 3 years from now, we are going to have like so many other applications that we haven't seen right as of now, and they will
Exactly.
become mainstream. So that is absolutely there, but like I said, I mean, money makes everyone happy, and if there is an opportunity to make money,
Yeah.
I mean, why not? So I think there should be a healthy combination of both, I believe.
Exactly. So I have few questions for you from my subscribers. So these you need to take any one thing, whether it might be first option or second option, or you can take both. I can say because there is much of both in this. Coins or tokens?
Coins or tokens. So when you refer to coins, what I think what you refer is basically a token on
Projects.
the
Yeah.
blockchain.
Yeah.
When you refer to token, so I would say right now, I would say both are good, but at this point in time, I would rather go with protocols. So I would go with
Okay.
coins.
Okay. So crypto is life or crypto is a part of life for you?
Crypto is
Crypto
life
is
or
your
part
life
of life.
or crypto is a part of your life?
It's a part of my life. See,
Exactly.
I always believe that
Yeah.
you should always find something which you're passionate about, which you want to talk about, which you have an opinion on. But at the same time, you should also pursue your other hobbies, like that you're passionate of.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would say both are part of my life. So that that answers the question.
Yeah, hodling or trading?
I would say hodling is what I prefer because this market is so volatile
Okay.
that I do not mind trading if there's a good opportunities and if it's short. But
Okay.
I wouldn't spend all my day in trading. Is all I would, because I want to create things.
Exactly.
Uh,
I
yeah.
got this question, right? Crypto is life or crypto part of life. I got this question from one subscriber. He's a friend of mine. He starts with 50,000, started at morning, started trading. At the end of the day, zero.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Money is your motive, good, but don't make that only motive. Man.
Yeah.
Understand the technology because that is extremely sad. When I hear these stories, you know what I then I maybe I think that okay, maybe that's wow, they have been presented in the first time.
Hmm.
That is their first impression of it, right? For
Yes.
many people, their first impression is okay, Bitcoin is something that you can make tons of money off.
Hmm.
They don't have, they have no idea of how Bitcoin works, why Bitcoin is invented, what Bitcoin is capable of. No,
No.
they have just one narrative, and that is those are the people who go wrong because then they FOMO in. They FOMO in. Oh, all of a sudden the price is 9,000. Come on, let's buy 10 bitcoins. That's down to 5,000.
Exactly. And they sell that. The part is they sell that at
Yeah,
5,000. That
and
is
then
the
they
problem.
say, sell off. I am broke. I got a huge loss. Sell off everything. And then there you know what? Crypto is a scam.
So, my last question for you today is, do you prefer watching or making technology related content or a news based content?
I like anything that excites me to the space, right? So
Okay.
I like both technology and news. And the reason it's so important because technology is where whether you let others know that okay, you know what, this is fascinating, this is coming up next, this is so exciting, this will change this thing, this will change this, you know. And news is where you say, you know, these are the recent developments, this is how this guy is looking at, uh, this is how, this is the regulators point of view of this, you know what, this regulator is happy to take it, or this is, you know, so I think both are important. You cannot because uh, the news are also equally important, I guess, to really let people know what is happening today, what happened today, so it gives you a good perspective.
Okay. Thanks, Shiv. Thanks for joining us. And it's really a good conversation that we had. And crypto conversation, we had a good conversation. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
joining,
much.
man.
Thank you so much, Kaushik. My pleasure. It was amazing conversation. Like I said, you are such a guy that you know, from what I have found out, that you're extremely passionate about this space. So you know, always try your best to give out, you know, that you can to the audience,
Yeah.
and you're extremely passionate. So that's what I like about you. And I had fun talking to you on
Okay.
this
Yeah. Thank
presentation.
you so much.
Thank you so much, Kaushik,
Yeah.
and I'll
Thank you.
see you soon.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.